Hello all and welcome back to another model railway video. Now today I'm going to be taking a look at a locomotive that is well overdue for being featured in a video. Now previously I announced, oh gosh goodness knows when it was, I think it was last year, that I wanted to do a double unboxing video of two locomotives. One of them I did eventually feature on the channel, which was Hornby's Turbomotive, an excellent model. But unfortunately, the other model at the time had an issue and wasn't able to be featured in the video, so I decided to scrap it and just look at the Turbomotive. Anyway, I got the model all sorted out, the other one, but I just forgot about it and didn't really think of doing a video on it until now. I thought, well, it's overdue, it's about time I took a look at it, so today that is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm not going to be doing a full unboxing of this loco, I'm just going to be doing a small running session of having a quick look at it and then running it around the layout. But indeed it is a loco that is well and truly worth having a look at, is because it is a stunner and it's one of a kind. So here is the model. This is KR Models GT3. And I think by this point you can probably understand why I wanted to feature this with Hornby's Turbomotive, is because they're both turbine locos. Of course the Turbomotive is a steam turbine engine, whereas this is a gas turbine locomotive. Of course what GT3 stands for. So this engine is a very unusual one, is because when you look at it, it takes a typical format of a 460 steam locomotive. It has a tender type area. It has your 6 driving wheels with coupling rods and 4 front wheels. So very much a steam locomotive looking engine. Now this model is brilliant, and you might be thinking at this point, what was wrong with it? What was going on? Well, it was just a simple thing. There was nothing really wrong with the model at all. The detail on it's fine, paintwork's fine. All it was one of the coupling rod bolts. I can't even remember what one it was. It was just missing. Not there. So I haven't heard anyone else report this type of issue, but yeah, it was just missing, and finally got another one. It was just a case of using the screwdriver tool and putting it back in. It was just a real easy job. You just use one of the standard coupling rod bolt sockets to put it in. You can buy those, I'm pretty sure, from most model shops. It was just dead easy, put it in. It was really random. I've never really come across a loco missing a coupling rod bolt. I've had them work their way out, but this was missing from the get-go. So, yeah, interesting. But when I put it in, the loco is fine, and I tell you what, it is a mint runner. So yeah, today I'm going to be taking a close look at this really impressive machine from KR Models. It's a brilliant locomotive, lovely to watch running around the layout. And it's a bit different for me, is because I'm used to steam era models. That's what I mainly do in 00 scale, but this is a gas turbine engine, so it's very, very different, but indeed one to look forward to having a look at. So I'll now position the camera and we'll take a close look at this amazing masterpiece from KR Models. Here we go. Okay, so I have the locomotive and what I would refer to as the tender disconnected, so I can have a look at them separately. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about the model to begin with. So the RRP for this model from KR Models site is £165.83, and that is for the DC version, which I've got. Well, DCC ready is because this has the ability to be chipped. So I'm pretty sure this example came directly from KR Models, and the price that I paid for it would be the New Zealand equivalent to £165.83, but of course the shipping is because it came from the UK. Now, there are no KR Models stockists in New Zealand, and I don't really do a lot of online shopping myself. I don't really have the means of doing it. But Colin at Middleton Model Railway knew I was very keen on getting this, and I asked him about it, and he said he would order it in for me from their site, and he did so, and it arrived. So really grateful to Colin, and yeah, can't mention him enough in terms of really good quality service at his shop. If you're keen on having a look at a good model railway, browse for a shop and get great service, Middleton Model Railway Nekatahuna with Colin, absolutely fantastic service, can't recommend him enough. But yeah, so the model arrived, and upon its arrival, as I mentioned, it was missing a coupling rod bolt. It was the one up the front here on the left-hand front driving wheel, and it wasn't in the box, it was just gone. So yeah, very, very unusual. That's something that I have not seen before. I've seen them falling out from just not being tightened in, but completely gone, Yeah, no, that was very unusual, and we were very careful to unpack it, and me and Colin were both a witness to it. Yeah, just no bolt at all. It was very, very weird. But we got another one, put it in, nice and easy, problem solved, and you can't even recognise that a bolt has been put in there. It's perfect. And the model does run well. Sorry for spoiling it, but it does run very, very well. So let's take a close look at the detail of the model, and there's literally so much to cover. It's a very plain livery, but there's so much detail. So we'll start with the side first. So there's some fantastic detail on the side. There's a little plate, either a maker's plate or a name plate or something. I can't really read it from behind the camera here, but a really nice little bit of detail with the gold and green there. You've got some nice bit of gold lining as well around the different parts, around that vent area, along the side, along the running board area. It looks really, really good. The one thing that I can't stop looking at on this is this bit of grille detail on the side where the turbine is obviously housed. Look at that, that looks absolutely fantastic. There's some separately fitted pieces there. This really is a quality model. It just looks so good. And I'm pretty sure this is the very first locomotive that KR Models produced, and for the first one. Bit bold, and I'm pretty sure there was a lot of talk that they weren't going to be able to do it, but they've proved everyone wrong, and what a brilliant model this is. So yeah, there's some handrail detail along the side there, really nice, with a bit of silver paint. You've got the running board on the top, which has like a grille texture. It's got like tread plate texture on the top. That looks really nice and great to see it in a different colour. I think it's a whitish grey sort of colour there. That's what I would refer to it as. Probably more white than grey, but that looks very, very nice. You've got the nicely done front truck, and it's unusual and looks quite strange, but very interesting. You've got the front bogie set there with the wheels and the axle boxes and the spring detailing. That looks really, really cool. And this does have a good amount of pivot. It sits on a slider underneath, so it has the ability to slide right the way along. So it's great for manoeuvrability around the tight curves, which is fantastic. Nice driving wheel detail. Now that all the bolts are in place, it looks absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it looks really nice underneath there. The brake rigging looks really nice. It looks quite big, but yeah, no, looks really cool. And of course you have at the cab end the very bold GT3 plate, and that looks really cool. I like it. It's quite a nice touch to the model, having that big bold standout plate. And you can actually feel that the letters, they're not just printed on, it's actually got the etching around the edges. It looks really, really cool. Really like that. And a very interesting cab. So, like a steam loco, but got that very typical diesel looking effect to it. It's got the windows like that. You can see the controls on the inside. You can't really see the cab detail too well from this angle, but you can see a few controls. There's a seat. Nice window detail, nice clear plastic windows with that little bit of silver around the edges to form the window arrangement. That looks really cool. You've got the nice doorway as well. You've got the handrails on the side. You've got the steps with the nice etched grills with tread plate on the edges. It looks really, really cool. It's really well presented. So, I'll move the tender out the way, and we'll have a look at the front, because the front of this thing makes this thing look brilliant. So, this is the front. So, when you look at the front of this, you don't think it's a steam engine. It's a very unusual looking machine, and there is tons of detail. And what I love about it is you've got working lamps on the front. All of those white head codes and the two bottom lamps underneath are all functioning, and you can actually change the head codes as well. There's some in the detail pack that you can actually change these around a little bit, which is fantastic. It's a really cool thing to see on a model like this. Great to have some extra detailed parts. You've also got some brilliant detail besides the head codes and the lamps on the front. You've got a bit of grille detail down the bottom here. Interesting sort of shape bit on the front. Very strange loco. It looks really, really cool. And you can see the top grille just there, which is all, I don't know if it's a separate piece, but you can see right through the grille. And it looks so cool from a bit of a top view there. It looks really, really neat. You've also got the electrification overhead wire stickers on the front, so that's pretty much to inform that the loco is running under overhead wires, and it's just to make sure people are aware when climbing up on the running boards and close to the wires that they are careful, and of course in the certain circumstances do not go on top of the loco when under the overhead wires. So yeah, that's what those are for. You've got a nice buffer beam. As you can see, the couplings are not fitted, nor the air line. They have got to be fitted, they're in the detail bag. You've got sprung buffers. They are not metal and they do wobble around a little bit, but it is cool that they've included the sprung buffer detailing. But definitely, I think that if I was going to say one thing about it, they could be a little bit better made. You can make them out of plastic, of course, but they do feel very fragile. So I'll just say that, bear that in mind when handling the model. Just be careful of the buffer arrangement. But yeah, looks very, very nice. And then you can see the steps on the side there. Also, again, a very fragile piece, but very realistic. They look very good. And then, of course, your proper coupling on the front there for connecting to your model wagons. Looks very, very cool. So very unusual loco from the front. We'll take a look at the back of the loco now. So there's not too much here except for a giant door. You've got your window there mounted, and you can also see your tender connection. And this is the cool thing about this model. It's one of the new sort of styles where you can actually pull it apart with a clip system. So you've got 8 pins there and then a clip latch system there. But the cab at the back is just green, pretty basic, but of course when the model is connected to the tender item, well, I'm going to call it the tender just because that's what it looks like to me, you don't really see this gap. It's pretty close in terms of how it is sealed. But yeah, you've got a clear plastic window there. Looks very, very good. And now the other side of the model, as you can see, very much the same looking machine there. Pretty much exactly the same on this side as well. Looks very, very nice. And on the top, you've got some separately fitted vent detail there. This piece here, I don't think that it is separately fitted when I look at it close up now, but it does have the etching in there to make it look like a realistic grille. It looks good. You've got panels along the top of the loco there. Look really, really good. Yeah, no, it's a really, really nice model. I'm really pleased with it. It's futuristic and streamlined looking, but also at the same time, it features the characteristics of a steam loco in regards to its form, of the coupling rods and the fact that it's got like a tender with it. It's, yeah, very interesting, very strange, but very cool model to have. Now this is the tender of the loco. Now when you look at it, it's from a side view you'd think, oh yeah, it's just a giant tender, a little bit different, but yeah, but when you see it's got a vent on the top, yeah, it looks very, very different. So I'll start off with the front and have a look at the other tender to loco connection. So you can see that is the pronged end, so you've got the prongs there, the 8 prongs, and then the other part of the clip system there. That's really nice in there. Great feature to have. You can also see you've got some clear plastic windows here with another door. You can see wires through those doors, but again, you're not going to be looking through there, is because it's close coupled to the loco all the time. Unless you take it off like this, you're not going to really see it. When I look at this, it looks like a subway unit from the New York subway systems. That's sort of what it reminds me of when you look at that. It's quite an unusual looking tender connection, but yeah, it's really well done, looks really well detailed. So on the side you have the main plate on the side, and that says Vulcan Foundry on the side there. There's Vulcan there, Foundry there, and then you've got EE, which is English Electric, in the middle. So it's quite an unusual crest. It almost takes a sort of a form like the British Rail symbol, where you had that same sort of style pattern on the side, but it's different. So it's quite neat how they've done that. I don't know if that's a deliberate attempt to copy the British Rail symbol and put it on the side of a loco, or if that's their own logo. I haven't seen this logo on other locos, so it's quite neat to see. Looks really, really cool. And nice colouring and painting, and the prints are very good. You've got another electrified sticker, a bit hard to see because of the light, but you've got one of those up there. And you've got some tiny gauges. I don't know if there's actual printed numbers, but I can see the little needles and little notches there. Very finely done, but it looks very, very good. Again, nice axle box detail. You can see there SKF axle boxes. I'm pretty sure it's the same on the front of the loco as well with the pony truckers. But that looks really cool. Nice detail. Big springs. You've got some ladder detail just sitting there, and you've got more ladder detail heading up to the top of the tender, and some rivet detail. Looks really nice. Unusual looking tender those, because the frame goes quite a fair way down over the wheels, and there's not much of the wheels being exposed. So yeah, again, very unusual, but very, very cool. and it's the same on the other side, I'm pretty sure, exactly the same, just reversed. You've got the gauges there, you've got the sticker there, the crest on the side. I'll call it a crest because it's like a crest. But yeah, very much exactly the same. And I've already featured the top detail. You've got the nice bit of vent detail on the top. That's a separately fitted piece. A few panels on the top. Looks very good. And then, last but not least, you have sprung buffers on the rear. And I don't know if those are plastic or metal. It's a bit hard to tell. But they feel a lot more structurally sound. They're sprung as well. Very soft spring on there. But they just feel a bit nicer to the touch in regards to quality. They look really, really good. And then you've got some other fine details. You can see the buffer beam at the back. No couplings fitted in terms of the detail couplings, screw link couplings and the airline. They're all in the detail bag. You've got the model coupling there though. And you do have lamps at this end. So you've got the lamps there and there. And I'm pretty sure they just emit a red glow when the loco's going forwards. So yeah, that looks really, really cool. And you can even see one of the plugs for probably your DCC set up through that clear plastic window in the back. And you've got a corridor connection, I'm pretty sure, to passenger coaches, because the only photos I've seen of this engine is with passenger stock, so that is what I will be running it with today on the layout. But yeah, a very unusual loco, and sorry if I've missed anything out, but yeah, there's a lot to cover with this particular loco, lots of detail. It's a stunning model and very unique, so in terms of what you run it with, it was around for a very limited amount of time, and it's a very unusual engine. So, yeah, very different to the rest of the collection. But I'm so pleased I've got it, is because it's really cool, a great piece of history, and I like the colour. I really like it. It's almost an orange type brown. It's like a chocolate sort of colour when you look at it. It's very interesting, but a brilliant livery, and it makes it stand out. Very good, so that is the GT3 up close. I'm now going to move it over to the layout. I'll reconnect the loco and tender, of course, and that is very simple to do. I won't do it on cameras because I want to do it with both hands, pretty free for it. But yeah, very easy, just push them together. I'll just line it up so you can see roughly what it looks like. Will they connect just straight away? I don't really want to do it off on cameras because I'm not concentrating properly. Oh, there you go. Easy, look at that. You just got to be careful with the prongs on this because they are quite exposed. So whenever I connect it, I sort of tilt the tender on just a slight bit of an angle so the clips, they just line up better. Because when you do it straight on sometimes, they sometimes hit the side of the plug and it's, yeah, a little bit dodgy. So when I connect it, I just have the ever so slight bit of a tilt. But your model might be slightly different. I'm not sure. If you've got one of these, you might find it a bit easier to do. But yeah, that's just how I do it anyway. But what I would say is just take extra care when connecting the loco and tender together. Rightio, I'll put the loco on the layout and we'll give it a run around the track. I'll get some passenger wagons and then put the load on after it's run light engine. Right, let's move over to the layout. Here we go. Okay, so the GT3 is all ready to hit around the layout. So it's all set, it's on the track. This is actually the first time a loco has run on my British 00 gauge layout in quite some time. I've been quite busy with other things on the go, so I've actually put all of the locos away for a couple of weeks and had nothing on the layout whatsoever. So it's great to be back out in the layout again. I've been on and off with it just because of other things going on. But yeah, this loco will be the first one in a while, so it'll be great to see it going around the layout. I'll send it around light engine first, and then I will connect it to some passenger stock and send it on its way. And I'll pick something for the inside line while I'm at it as well. Right, here we go. Okay, and with the lights turned off, there's a little bit of a glimmer of the lights on the front. And you'll also be able to see on the rear of the tenders there's some red lights as well. An excellent model, fantastic to have on the layout. It has not actually done a lot of running. I've tried to keep it as good as I can for when I did the video. It has had a few runs now, but not too many, but yeah, excellent performer, looks great with the Pullmans, great loco. So there we go, folks, that is the very impressive GT3 by KR Models. What a great loco to add to the collection. Very unique, and I've said it before, I like unusual pieces in the collection, and this certainly takes the cake as one of the most unusual. Not due to the fact it's a very unusual style of engine, the colour's unusual, but being a gas turbine locomotive, you don't see too many of those around. But this one, as a gas turbine engine in the format of a steam locomotive, very, very impressive. It looks great. And to KR Models, who are very new into the model railway market, and this was their first engine, I believe, well done. Absolutely extraordinary loco, and it runs so well, looks so nice, and I do highly recommend it. Now, in regarding to getting one of these, as I've mentioned, getting them might be a bit tricky, is because a lot of people were interested in this model, and I'm pretty sure that the first two runs of this sold out almost immediately, and the third run has sold out. I'm pretty sure there were 3 runs, but I was very pleased to be able to get one of these, and it looks like I got it just in the nick of time too, is because I think it was about a month after I got this they were all gone, so very pleased to have this in the collection. Sorry if it hasn't been the most in-depth look into the loco. I may have rushed through a couple of little bits and pieces, and unfortunately there was no really good way to have a look at the cab detail in the model, but there's definitely some detail in there. But yeah, looks very, very nice. And yeah, try to get some unusual looking locos or streamlined type locos on the layout. Had the turbomotive, one of the coronations, had a merchant navy, and had the W1 Hush Hush all in the sidings, so it was quite good to see those. And a lot of you might be wondering why this was in the video. It's a Class 37, and there's not really a whole lot unusual about it. It was one of Britain's most common diesels, really, at one point. They were so well used, and some are still in use to this day in commercial operation. The reason I put this down as an unusual one is because nowadays I don't tend to collect a whole lot of railroad locos, and I don't collect a lot of diesels, and this is a railroad diesel locomotive, so for me it's a bit of an unusual one to see. I do have railroad diesels, but I haven't collected any in years, and this is only a recent addition. It's one of Hornby's new enhanced livery locomotives. Really nice one. And to make it unusual, I had a maintenance train in behind it, so there you go, that makes it a bit unusual. So sort of fitting in with the theme. Very good. I hope you've enjoyed it, folks, and there will definitely be more model railway videos on the way. They're definitely, like they have been recently, they're not going to be as frequent, I don't think, as I have had a few things on the go, but I'll get them done whenever I get a chance, and yeah, have been enjoying them, and it's great to be back in layout and running some more trains, and great to finally do this video on the lovely GT3. Very good. Hope you've enjoyed it, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.